Hello. Welcome to Irresistible You, Ignite Your Passion and Purpose. I'm your host, Karen Seltz. I'm really honored that you've made the choice to join and to spend your time here. And I've had some recent experiences that have been extremely profound, and I'm going to share them with you and then reflect on some journaling that I did after the most recent one that has led me to this topic of divine expression. And what I have come to believe is that a lot of times, for many of us, we have different things that are obscuring our heart energy. That it might be armor, it might be blockages, it might be different types of pain or disappointments that we've experienced through our lives. Rejection's a big one, right? And when we are able to free our hearts and to start opening them up more and more and more by directing energy there, and I'm going to talk about how to do that, the energy flows up. And the next place it goes is from the heart chakra, which is the fourth energy center, to the fifth chakra, the throat chakra. And the throat chakra is where so much of our expression actually gets expressed, right? And what's interesting is being in the Dr. Joe Dispenza community, I recently realized that the fifth chakra goes down the arms and is what is responsible for a different type of expression, expressing love through energy, through conveying wholeness, to seeing other people as whole. You can actually heal them energetically. And then also, it is a way that we express ourselves creatively through writing or through art. There's so many different things that the fifth chakra is responsible for. Our voice, whether that is speaking, talking, just like talking, giving someone an encouraging word, hugging, right? It's that fifth chakra goes on the arms. It's responsible for that. And I want to talk about that, and also how you integrate the heart and the head. Where's the integration point? Fifth chakra, the throat chakra. And it's become very apparent to me how repressed I was in this area. And so many women come to me and say the same thing, that they're afraid to use their voice or afraid to say what they really think, or really just holding themselves back, afraid to be too loud or too big. And I was just doing some work today, some inner child work, and I realized that was a story of my childhood. Don't be too loud. Don't be too big. Because if I got myself noticed, a lot of times there was something physical that occurred after that was not pleasant. So I learned to be small, to be neutral. Not I wasn't feeling neutral. I don't mean neutral in the way, that it's healthy, but to be suppressed, to not be too high or too low. And the too low was, if you're crying, oh, you've probably heard this. If you keep that up, I'll give you something to cry about, right? So if I was too loud, even if it was in joy, that was like, go be quiet, you're bothering me. And so it's no wonder that I became a class clown at school, because I am a naturally bubbly person and I had no outlet. So I was constantly in trouble at school for talking. Like, I thought everything was funny, but I was also not able to access the tender, loving heart that was compassionate and that wanted compassion, that wanted acceptance. So I'm going to talk about like how all of that is integrated and into a whole being. So I'm going to start. I went to my very first advanced follow-up retreat with Joe Dispenza a couple of weeks ago in Denver. And it's like the highest level event he has at this point. So he does some introductory events that are a couple days, and then he does week-long events. He calls them week-long advanced retreats. And these are amazing, and it could be people at all different levels, people that are just being introduced to his work. You have to do some preparation work before you get there. Or it could be people coming back to their 20th week long. I've been to 3 of them so far. There's always more levels. It's kind of like, when you uncover your shadow side or your inner child, there's always more work to do, right? We're constantly either evolving or revolving. So we get to choose. So this was called an advanced follow up. So you must have attended one of the week longs to go to this. And I didn't know what to expect. It's just a few days, it's 4 days altogether. And the first morning, he does meditations where you sit up and then at the end you lie down and energy flies. In those rooms, you never know what your body's going to do because the frequency is so high and energy is moving. So I'm used to my body shaking and doing all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, that's not new in these events. But this time was a little bit different. um, the first thing I noticed was that I was sobbing. And it felt like I didn't even know that I had been guarding my heart, that I've been holding on to things, that I've been, putting up a block between my heart, me, my tender self, and everybody else in the world. I only let people see, the shiny, pretty parts a lot of the time still. And I didn't realize this, of course. I thought, I've done all this work on authenticity and telling my authentic story and speaking from the heart. Well, let me tell you, all hell broke loose at this retreat. So I'm just going to tell you what physically was happening because it's such a good metaphor too. So my chest was coming off the ground. I was lying on my back, so it was like coming off the ground literally like this, and then it would slam down like bam, and I was like, like, but it was like, all right, Karen, you're not going to open it yourself. I'm going to crack it open for you. And it was like, I mean, it didn't hurt, but it was like, poof, poof, poof. Felt like The Exorcist or something. I mean, it was so interesting. I mean, I was like, bam, bam, bam. And I'm sobbing and I'm just like letting it fly. And I'm like, well, that was interesting. And then also, my body shaking and doing all other kinds of other things too at the same time. My eye shades like wriggled off my head. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I do my best to soften and relax into these things when they happen because I don't know what I need, but I know that somebody, I call it source, God, spirit, I call it all those things, does know what's best for me. And after that meditation, there came a time when everything just stopped. It became like completely still. And it's like, and so it is. And it was done for that time. And it was completely still. And there was a peace and like this love. Like I felt love coming into me and I felt love coming out of me. And I felt so light. And I didn't even realize I was carrying that heavy of a load. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you go to these places, especially if you're with a group and the energy of the group goes up, your energy, of course, is bringing it up as well because of who you are. Stuff will shift. So if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend you do group meditations with people that you trust or groups that you trust because the frequency is so much greater when you're with other people. It's unbelievable. Now imagine I was with 1,500 people and Dr. Joe Dispenza and, all kinds of support beings come into the space. They just do. Believe it or not, take it however you want to, but they're there. And many people see them. I feel them. I can hear things. I haven't seen anything yet. So then later on in the couple days, maybe 2 days later, a day later, I have no idea. Time disappears there. It kind of dilates and then it's over like that. During one of the walking meditations outside, everybody has headphones in. We use an app. So we hear Dr. Joe and music in our ears. And there's times when you're standing up with your eyes closed, not moving. And then there's times when you're walking with your eyes open, of course. So at one of the times when I had my eyes closed and I was just standing, oh my gosh, I felt like this liberation of energy and my heart just like It cracked open and it blew open, and everything that was left on there, all the armor was like completely gone. And I was wailing. I cannot tell you how loud I was because I had headphones in, but I'm sure the volunteers were like, I hope she's okay. And then again, my body was like, it was like I was standing, but it was like moving and shaking and doing all, I don't know what it was doing, but it was like, it was having some movement. It was experiencing something. And after that, oh my gosh, I felt almost like a child, like no cares in the world, like so light and happy and free, free. So those things happened. Then I came home and had a bit of a reintegration period where I'm like, where am I? Like, this doesn't feel good. And then I did my very first mini plant medicine ceremony. And this was maybe 5 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. And it's something, it was a smokable form of ayahuasca and mixed with something. So it lasts only like 5 to 20 minutes. So if you don't like it, you're good. You can just stop. Well, I had some pretty profound sensory, full on sensory experiences. And after this journey, you can, there's an hour and a half where you can smoke it as many times as you want to. After that, there was like some integration time and I did some journaling. And what came through was absolutely beautiful. Oops, there it was too, on my phone. I put it on my phone later because I could barely read my writing because it was kind of dark in there. It was so beautiful. And what I've been doing is teaching coaches and entrepreneurs how to connect to their hearts and how to speak authentically, which is a little bit funny now because I realized that, yes, I was speaking as authentically as I knew how, but now there's so much more. There's so much more available on video. And what came through to me is you are here to teach divine expression in all its forms. Video is one, it's only one form. There's stages, there's singing, there's dancing, there's healing, energy healing, there's writing, there's journaling, there's photography, there's art, I mean, sky's the limit, right? Hugging people, like I said, it could be anything. And one of the ways, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this a lot, like when you liberate energy from the lower energy centers. So, the first one is elimination, right? Elimination, procreation, digestion, and then comes your heart, and then your throat, and then your mind, and then the crown, which is your spiritual connection. When you liberate energy from the lower centers, it automatically moves up. So when you can focus on your heart center, and all it takes is intention and focus. Like if you were to close your eyes right now and just place a hand on your heart and place your attention on your heart, where your attention goes, your energy flows. Dr. Joe Dispenza says that all the time. Other people say it too. I don't know who coined it. I hear him say it all the time. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And you focus on your heart, your beautiful, radiant, loving heart. And you breathe in through that center. And you just breathe through it and send it love, send it gratitude for pumping oxygenated blood through your body, for keeping you alive, for allowing you to love, to feel compassion, to feel gratitude, to feel every positive emotion you've ever felt, to even feel scared when it is appropriate for you, right? Like it keeps you safe in so many ways, to alert you to danger or to people that are not in alignment with you. Your heart is beautiful. What happens when you give it some love, when you focus your attention on it, and you just allow it to beat for the love of you? Well, what happens is it expands. Physically, it expands, kind of like the Grinch. Like his heart grew, I can't remember how many sizes, but your heart physically will engorge with blood. It fills with oxytocin, just like the bonding love chemical. And that energy goes up and it wants to be expressed. How you express the divine is like your own authentic footprint. It's so unique to you. Nobody else can express the way you do. And it is your dharma. It is what you are here for, to be that divine expression of love. And I think it's so beautiful, the different forms it can take, how unique that you are, that we all are. And so I invite you to just close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and take a couple breaths in through your heart. And as you do that, focus your attention on that beautiful heart. Maybe feel it beating under your hand. Maybe feel the strength or the rhythm. Maybe feel the peace or the love that you have for yourself or for someone else. And then I invite you to ask, what wants to be expressed through me right now? How can I best express your love? And I invite you to do that thing. That's what you're here for. And people get caught up in money. Like, am I here to do that for money, to get paid? I don't know. I don't know. You get to trust. You get to trust that your guidance is for you. And when you don't listen to it, when you don't actually follow it, there becomes this discord, like in the subconscious mind. And it's not that it's not always coming through for you, but I'll tell you what I used to do. When I would get this guidance and I didn't follow it, I'd put it in a journal and then close it. The next time I thought about asking for guidance, I didn't feel worthy of it because I didn't follow it. So I sabotaged myself because I wasn't following it. It was like a lack of integrity. So follow it. Even if it's scary, know that if it was put there, if it was given to you, it is meant for you. It's not meant for anybody else. However, if you don't do it, the divine has many channels, right? It will find a different way. It'll find a different avenue. So I invite you to play with this. Really play. And if you want to paint, you paint. If you want to, I don't know, dance naked in your house. I mean, whatever form it takes, whatever you're led to do, just trust it. Trust that. And however you receive your guidance, trust that too. It's not going to be the same as me. A lot of times will get it in journaling. I'll ask the question and then I'll get the answer in journaling. But it doesn't have to be that way. If I'm coaching someone, I ask, like, what would you have me say? And sometimes it comes in sensations and sometimes it's weird. Like, sometimes it's like, okay, get up, go outside, but it's snowing and I'm barefoot. It doesn't matter. Go outside. Now skip. Go skip. And then I hear this woman on the end of the phone giggling. I mean, she's outside in the snow in England and she's giggling because she was stuck, right? She was stuck in her head, analyzing, depressed, sad, and she's outside giggling, barefoot in the snow, looking like a complete lunatic. So whatever it is, play and express it. And if you're meant to make money with it, you will. You will. You just get to trust that everything is unfolding perfectly for you. Now, a lot of the women that I coach are extremely brilliant, very intelligent people, and they're so reliant on their brains that they've learned to turn down the volume of their hearts. They don't take that into the equation. And when you practice mentally, like, just try to focus on this. It doesn't have to be, if you're not visual, don't worry about it. But putting the energy of your heart into your mind and the energy of your mind, like the wisdom of your mind, into your heart. And you're going to integrate the two and make all of your decisions from that balanced place. So you're not leading with your heart to the point where you're being irrational. I mean, sometimes you are, which is okay. But I mean, where you're saying, okay, yeah, here, take all my money, homeless man. You know what I mean? And then you live on the street too. Or you're not completely leading from logic and being a jerk. So you're balancing and you're learning how to speak with verbal harmlessness, which means that when you catch yourself judging, you catch it. You're like, oh, I see, I wanted to judge there. Interesting. What is it bringing up in me? How is that me? What part of me is ready to be healed? Because there's nothing outside of you. And I've been saying that forever. And I've caught myself a few times in the last few days judging. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Interesting. That person is, or no, I am being triggered by that person. What is it? What part of me is ready to be healed? Because I wouldn't see it if I didn't have it. I wouldn't. I know that in my head, but it doesn't stop me from going there. But now I have the tools and I will back up fairly quickly and look at it. So I invite you to do the same and don't judge yourself for judging. Just play with it. And did you guys ever read the book, The Artist's Way? It's brilliant. And one of the things I suggest is to take your inner child on an artist's date once a week. And what that consists of is anything that you wanted to do as a child, anything that you used to do as a child, something silly and frivolous and fun, something that your adult self would say, oh, that's a waste of time. And do that once a week. And I was thinking about that recently, like, I used to play in the pool by myself for hours, and I would have like these made up stories of like being chased by sharks or whatever. And, you know, I'd have to swim really fast to swim them, and I don't know, different things, different obstacles and all these things. And I'm like, that would be fun. That would be fun to do again. Maybe I'll do that. So I invite you, like, what did you love to do as a child, or what did you really want to do but your parents wouldn't let you, or you were afraid to ask to do? Go do that. Schedule it, because we get to feed our inner artists, our inner creative, because that's who we're here to be. We're here to play. We're here to be creators. We are not the effect. We are the cause, and we are the creators. So what are you going to create? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, comment. I will respond, I promise. And if you want more of what I have going on, go check out KarenSeltz.com. I'll see you right here next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.